Okay, here it is. Me, Brother Damon, Chief Jones, whatever you want to call me. Hey, don't call me no bad names, okay? Hey, today is on the right of travel / right of free movement. You need to understand the right of travel, which is what most people assert, means the right to go from state to state to state within the United States or in the American territories, to and from states to American territories or back or in between, without a checkpoint at the state line where they say, show me your traveling papers, okay, or that you can show that you're a citizen of this state or these United States. So the free movement goes from state to state. And many people were telling the police when they're stopped, hey, I'm a traveler and you're stopping my free travel. Well, that's state to state. So that may apply if you're traveling across country or from one state to another state, or you come out of one state to another state at the same point of travel, like you're going from point A to point B. So you left Texas and you're going to, say, South Carolina. Okay, you're traveling several states and you stop and start. Well, then they're interfering with your travel. Here's the key word: interference, impingement, molestation, hindering, harassing your free movement, which is to stop you or substantially curtail your free movement. So when they say you're being detained, that is a limited interference, supposedly, in your free movement as the courts have interpreted it. So that means you can still walk around in a limited area. You can still smoke a cigarette if you smoke. You can still make a cell phone call if you got one. You can still do something so long as it's not, quote, threatening. Like you're not trying to reach in the glove boxes and you're not trying to get into your trunk to maybe get out a knife, a gun, an explosive, whatever, that they can contend, okay? So you're walking, talking, moving around in a limited area. So you can't just go anywhere, but say 40 or 50 paces this away or that away, you know, it's probably going to be considered reasonable. Detainment is for a limited amount of time. And we were taught in the academy 15 to 25 minutes is probably about all you're going to get. About as long as it takes to, quote, write a uniform traffic citation if you observe this and you believe this is so. But here's something that's interesting. If a police officer is going to write you a ticket, if he don't have the clerk of the court sitting in his vehicle with him, or following in another vehicle behind him, where when he issues the ticket, that he hands it to him or her, and they put their court seal and clerk seal, bam, bam, court seal and clerk seal on this ticket, on this summons to appear, okay, it's a summons, and then they've got a third party that's disinterested, that's not on the payroll, that don't have a dog in the fight. The county ain't paying them. The police ain't paying them. It's just a process server that's voluntary that has no dog in the fight. Okay? And then the clerk of the court gives to this man or woman the paperwork the police just signed out, and then that man or woman comes to your window and then they request your signature. Signature means it's of your own free will and your own free accord that you write that you have a full disclosure of the contract or the ins and outs of this document you're signing. So you have to know all your rights, your remedies, your do's, your don'ts, your cans, your can'ts, etc. Until you know that, then you can't make an informed decision and you can't freely sign. So the document's kind of void anyway, since you don't know all them things. Your signature means lots and lots and lots of things. Okay? Now, me, if I put my mark on something, that means it's my autograph, not a signature. So I write AG for autograph, UD for under duress, okay, without prejudice, so I stay in honor. And I am limitedly accepting and agreeing to certain things as I understand them, but I reserve the right to rebut and claim any claim I can and stay in the common law. And I'm telling them it's not a signature, okay? But unless the cop gives it to the clerk court and the clerk of the court stamps it with their seal, and it has to be a true seal, not a corporate seal, but the organic seal and the court's organic seal, okay? So the clerk is acting as the clerk of the court and the clerk of the people. So there's the clerk of the people and there's the clerk of the court. So 2 stamps, and then that third person sign it or serve it to you, okay? Called service. So all this is part of the due process. So when the police officer is considered the witness and the harmed party and the served party, then the citation is flawed all the way through and through. And then you got a judge who, if you ask him, who pays your salary? The state. Okay, this prosecutor over there, who pays their salary? The state. Who pays the police's salary? The state, or the state through LexisNexis with the counties and the cities. Okay, so they're all connected here. So it's still the state in a roundabout way, however you look at it. So if the judge is paid by the state, the prosecutor is paid by the state, the cop is paid by the state, and you're over here, there's nobody that's in your side except you. So it's really 3-1. The judge has to be a disinterested third party. So I have heard and I know of people filing that the judge must remove himself because he's paid and he has an interest in this. Because if all the citations were dismissed, there's no fees coming into the judiciary, so there's no paycheck for him. And then he ain't going to work there. And since he's a bar attorney, then they're going to require he get paid. Okay? So unless you have a retired judge, and then that's kind of suspect because he's drawn a retirement as a judge. And they could theoretically be telling him, if you don't come in and do this, your retirement could dry up, buddy. So we don't really know these things. These are things that need to be investigated. By the way, I'm not a judge and I'm not a lawyer. Haven't been, don't want to be. Okay? Just a retired chief of police and chief deputy constable, 39 years of service. I have asked God to forgive me for anything I've done wrong to anybody. Okay? Ignorance sometimes is bliss, but I always kept trying to learn more and correct than I have, okay? So, anybody I ever done wrong, I ask you to forgive me. If you don't, I can't make you, but God's gave me peace of mind where I am, okay? So I'm trying to educate people and tell you how to deal with cops and judges, in my opinion. Things that I think are right, things that I think are fair, and the system doesn't tell you. They don't disclose things to you, okay? I think that at least when you're in high school, they ought to have a 6-month course or the whole year course, one class, that teaches nothing but civics. It teaches you what you have to do to remain in honor, what brings you into dishonor, talks to you about contract law, private law, civil law, Roman law, common law, statutory law, what the Constitution means as a covenant, not a contract. And if you're a party to it, then they have to treat you as a party to it, and we are by prosperity.